Hey, it's Rabbi Shmuel Pollan. I want to welcome you back to the Light Unto the Nations show. And today we're dealing with a very serious issue, even though I'm dressed kind of cash. We're dealing with how to overcome bad habits, temptation, and addiction. And I am not an addict, and I'm not going to claim to be, but I'm going to give you what I've picked up about addiction. One thing that I've learned from someone who is an expert in addiction is that addicts are some of the most spiritual, sensitive people in the world, and we think that they're like the lowest of the low, but they're actually the highest of the high. And so, congratulations on that you are very spiritually high, and may that give you the power to defeat your demons. And we're going to make this about weight loss because that's something that so many people suffer from, weight loss. And we know when it comes to weight loss, it's eat less and move more. And the real struggle with weight loss is people can find a diet and follow a diet, but when that sign comes in through their windshield, Dunkin' Donuts, and you just have to turn in, and you feel like you have no other choice but to turn in to the donut place, that will ruin your diet. So you were on a diet and you were eating less, but then you ate that donut, and then the next thing you know, it's some cheesecake, and then the next thing you know, it's some marble cake and some chocolate. And what's going on? Why can't we resist? Why can't we defeat temptation? So to understand this, we have to go to some Kabbalistic concepts. First, the concept of etzem. Etzem means itself, and it means who you really are in your core. Who are you? The truth is, you are a piece of God in a physical body, a piece of God. That means that your true being, if you could get in touch with it, is totally infinite, all powerful, all knowing, unlimited, and has total free choice, can do absolutely anything that it wants. So the first stage, the first step out of habits, temptation, and addiction is to know that your true being has total free choice. It's entirely free. It's unlimited. It's all knowing. You're a piece of God. That's what you are, a piece of God. Everything that God has, you have it in miniature form. You can do absolutely anything. That means that you never lost your free will. An addiction does not mean you lost your free will. You still have it. You still can choose what to do. When it comes to a temptation and you're starving and that donut place is right there, you still have the choice. Your true being is infinite. Your true being is unlimited. Your true being is totally free. So you are not a puppet on a string. That sign does not force you to go into that donut place and eat donuts. It does not force you. Nothing can force you. What has happened is you've made many decisions which trap your true essence. You've made many decisions which make it seem like you're trapped. You have to go and take cocaine. You have to go and drink alcohol. It's sort of a reaction to your anxiety, possibly, or a reaction to your depression. And we'll talk about that, the fact that it's triggered by other things. But you've made these choices, and you made them again and again and again, but it has not changed the essence. The essence is unchanged. You're still in a state of total free choice. You always have the option. And the first stage out of temptation, habits, and addiction is to know who you are, to know that you're a piece of God and that you are totally unlimited and free. The next step is to understand the Sephirotic tree, which is Keser, Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gevur, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus. We have to understand these 10 levels because as much as the etzem is who we are, totally unlimited, we also have this limited part to us. It's the 10 soul powers. And we need to get in touch with these 10 soul powers. And ultimately, what we want to do is bring the oneness, the etzem, the core, the unlimitedness, into the 10 character traits, into the 10 soul powers. So we have to understand a little bit about these 10 soul powers. Kesser is pain and pleasure, and we make a decision with our etzem how much pain we're willing to take to get to pleasure. How much pain are we willing to endure in not going into the donut place to go right by it? It's painful, but how much pain we're willing to endure will decide our success. You need to go through pain to get to pleasure. That's the general way things work. So you have to be aware of your kesser. You have to be aware of your crown. This crown's everything you do, because absolutely everything you do is a choice of how much pain and how much pleasure you want. Even if you're just tapping your foot under the table, that's a little bit of pleasure. That's why you're doing it, because of pleasure. Your pain pleasure spectrum decides your entire life. Each of these decide your entire life. And Chachma is your picture factory, your idea factory. Your ideas start out in pictures, and you have that picture of that sign for Dunkin' Donuts. Then you have the picture of the donut in your mind. And that is what's causing you to give in to the temptation, the habit, or addiction. It's all the images that you get in your head. And one of the keys is to be able to switch up and change the images. Look away from the sign. Look to the left instead of to the right. Look at completely different things. Think of completely different things. Think of other things. Think of unicorns. Think of a beach. Think of anything other than the donuts, but get those pictures going properly. Get them going in a good direction. And then we have Bina, which is the translation of the pictures into speech. So talk to yourself about these things that you're seeing, these new pictures that you're seeing, which are not the pictures of the Dunkin' Donuts. And then there's Chesed, which is kindness. That's how much you give in to the desire. And Gevura is how much you're going to limit yourself from the desire. So Chesed is a green light, Gevura is a red light, and you should now associate yourself with the red light instead of the green light. Start thinking in terms of, I'm going to restrict myself, I'm going to limit myself, and be in a limiting fashion rather than a giving in fashion. So if you do all these things together, it's very, very powerful. You have the pain and pleasure. You're conscious of that. So you're taking control over that. You're taking control over the pictures. You're taking control over the speech from the pictures. You're taking control over your red light and your green light. If you succeed at any one of these stages, you will defeat the habit, temptation, or addiction. You will defeat it. The next thing is netzach. That's your desire to overcome obstacles. It's also called victory. And if you can pump yourself up and say, my goal right now, my goal today is to overcome obstacles, not just to live and just be pushed around by the waves of life, but to overcome obstacles, to overcome the waves and surf, uh, go over the waves and come back through it, and, have the waves be something that help you instead of something that hurts you. But you got to overcome those obstacles. You got to get through the waves to get to the surf. And then there's hod, which is submissiveness. And you need submissiveness to be submissive to your goal. You need to have the goal ahead of you, and you're going to be behind the goal, and you're going to be submissive to the goal, and you're not going to let anything get in your way. So these are two different faculties: the ability to overcome obstacles and the ability to be submissive to the goal. That if you can control them, you can control your desire for pain and pleasure. You can control your desire for going for the donut. And then we miss das, which is focus. You have to focus intently on what's happening with the pictures and the speech that is created from the pictures. You have to focus. You can't just let it go by in a passing way. You have to really look at the details of the new pictures that you have. And then we have Yesod, which is just basically your how much energy you're going to pump into this pursuit that you've done. And Malchus, which means a kingship, which means you become a king once you control these 9 soul powers. You get the 10th power, which makes you a king, and a king can do what he wants. It's bringing you back to the original Etzem. It's bringing you back to the original soul power, who can do what he wants. He has as much power as he wants. He's as infinite as he wants to be. This is all what you get once you control your first 9 powers. So you have, let's summarize. We have the ability to do anything. That's our etzah, that's our core. We realize that's who we really are, and nobody can take it away from us. That we never lose our free choice, no matter how close we are to the thing that we think we're addicted to, no matter how how much we've gone into indulging into it. We still have free choice, even if you've eaten the first piece of the donut. You still have free choice. Your etzem is still free, so you can stop right then. You can stop at any moment, and we've given you 10 opportunities to stop. We've given 10 opportunities to change the pain-pleasure spectrum, change which direction you're going with the pain and the pleasure, change the pictures, change the speech, change the, give fuel and give power to the overcoming obstacles and submission to the goal. And we'll give you one more thing that is very important, is that we have inside of us, we're talking about who we are inside. We have inside of us multiple personalities. I know it's a disorder in some people, but everybody has multiple personalities. We all at times act with our godly soul, and we act with our animal soul. And then in addition to those souls, there are many other souls. And you could have in yourself, and you should think with your weight loss about who is the soul that is wanting me to eat that donut. Give it a name. Give that personality a name. Charlie. It's Charlie, and give it a personality. Write down the personality of Charlie. He acts like this. What is his slogan? What is his catchphrase? What does he do for a living? Go through everything you can to develop that personality that exists, because it does exist, but you have to define it. You have to locate it. It has to not be a blind spot for you. The key to Hasidic philosophy is finding blind spots and bringing light where there was darkness, to bring consciousness where there was unconsciousness or subconsciousness. So you have this, you develop this character, and it looks kind of like you, but it's not you. But people would mistake him for you, but it's not you. But it's very, very fat, and it has diabetes, and it's going to die early if nothing is done. And that's Charlie. And then we have the opposite personality, the one that you could be, the one that looks like you but isn't quite you, but you could be him. And that's Will. And Will works out constantly. He's in the gym every day for 3 hours. He takes testosterone so he can grow even faster his muscles. And he eats a total paleo diet. He eats vegetables and meat to grow his muscles as much as possible. He runs every day for an hour. He runs outside. He gets fresh air. And he's constantly in nature. And he's constantly growing his muscles and growing his stamina and growing his endurance in himself. And he's just obsessed with working out. And he never breaks his diet in any way. He is completely has a red light for that. He has a total red light for breaking his diet. So these are the two people. And when you want to overcome a temptation, a habit, or an addiction, you want to associate yourself with the person that you want to be. You want to think like just like some people wear glasses even though they have 20/20 vision, because when they put on the glasses, they're a new person. They put on the glasses and they can handle any situation in a boardroom, in a conference room, they're totally able to handle it because they put the glasses on, they've taken on this alter ego. So do something, even if it's just, putting on a baseball cap or something like that. Or if you can just do it in your mind, just imagine yourself being Will. Imagine that you're Will, and that's who you are. And you're gonna, as soon as you have developed that character, and you imagine yourself that I'm clicking into being Will, then you're gonna have all the feelings that Will has, and you're gonna have all the structure that Will has, and all the discipline that Will has, and you're going to be able to resist that temptation. And the final thing I'll say is about triggers. If anxiety triggers you to alcohol, so work on the anxiety. It might be easier for you to work on the anxiety than the alcohol. And you really have to think, whenever I abuse, whenever I fall into temptation, what happens before that? Pay attention, pay close attention to before that. And one more thing, and if you can address the trigger, you will address the underlying um, temptation. And one more thing that a rabbi once told me when I was dealing with a temptation is, can you stop it a little bit? Because God doesn't ask you to totally fulfill his desires for you completely. He asks you to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. That's all you have to be, a little bit better today than you were yesterday. So ask yourself, can I just do this a little bit less? Can I get a smaller donut? Can I take a little bit less alcohol, a little bit less cocaine? Can I do a little bit less, and then the next day do a little bit less, a little bit less? Don't be so hard on yourself that you have to go cold turkey and you can never ever do it again. You can take more moderate steps, moderate stages. So I think that's about 4 strategies there. Take even one of them, and it will change your life. And may we all have full revelation of the godly spark which is in each of us. May we have a full revelation of our power and our freedom of choice and our infinity and our ability to do anything. May we all have that power revealed throughout our body, throughout the Sephirotic tree, unite the Sephirotic tree and all those soul powers that we spoke about. And may you all be blessed with all good things.